Hey, Sandra, are you good? Can't hear
They're
you.
eating.
Oh no.
How many people do you have?
Response to the virtual tour that we did 2 weeks ago. And again, hats off to Westmark, the strong and mighty team that Centra leads over there. This is really their brainchild, and really put it into action. Which one thing I've loved about this committee in economic development through Westmark is it's really a working committee. And I would say over the last 6 years, it would be hard to find an individual on that committee that's worked harder, put more pen to paper, and put more effort into the shared initiatives across the West Valley than my good friend and colleague Kirsten Hall. And I want to say that not because she's our special guest today, but I want to say it because she truly believes in the shared mission that we have here in the West Valley and has been a wonderful advocate. But she also has a responsibility, and that responsibility for her community, specifically the city of Peoria, is significant. Peoria is a leader in the West Valley in a lot of things, and really as a West Valley guy who grew up in the Peoria Unified School District, going to Copperwood Elementary and then Ironwood High School, Peoria has been just an incredible not only advocate for its residents, but a model of financial growth over the last 20 years. And that growth continues, Kirsten. So I wanted to maybe start with you and see if you would like to kind of introduce yourself and the two assets that we're going to be talking about today, and so we can have a nice exchange.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Thanks. I appreciate that. I wasn't sure if I would go first or Sherry, so I'm not gonna steal her thunder.
Yeah, Sherry's gonna go first, just to let you know.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike, for the introduction. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Sherry, are you on the call? I don't see you here. I apologize.
I am on the call. I am listening.
Oh, wonderful. So with any successful community that's been growing, like we just described for Peoria, we have to have developments that take a chance on a community, that invest in a community, but also become an important part of that community. And so with your development, I really like to get an idea of kind of the genesis of that initial kind of investment, but also where you're taking this fantastic asset that we have here in the West Valley.
Sure. So we started out looking at this property probably about 4 years ago, and Mark Cavan, who actually is the head of MDC, lived out on the west side and had realized that there really wasn't anything out there that he was always going to Scottsdale, didn't see any restaurants, things like that he wanted to go to. So he had identified this piece of property, had seen all of the development that was going around, and decided to go ahead and acquire the land. It was 3 parcels. It equals about 9 acres. And so we acquired it back in early 2016. And from there decided that we were going to we both really love DC Ranch, so the more and more that we looked at it, the more we talked to people, the more we kind of did our research and looked at the demographics, the type of growth that was going on over there, we decided that that was probably something that could do very, very well over on that corner and in that area. So that's kind of how we started with that. I'm trying to, do I have access here? Oh, there we go. Okay. So anyways, it's located on the southeast corner of 83rd Avenue in Happy Valley, and that's, if anybody knows, it's a huge growing area. There's going to be 45,000 square feet of basically family-friendly, pedestrian-oriented, high-end retail and restaurants, and we're building it right now in 2 phases. Lot 1 right now, which if anybody's driven by there, is currently under construction and almost a gray shell. It's about 19,500 square feet. And then Lot 2 is on the other side, and we'll start that probably fall of this year, and that's going to be another 21,000 square feet. One of the reasons why we did pick this area again is because it is ideally situated in a prominent trade area. Happy Valley is a growing, bustling corridor, and again, the whole area has high income demographics. It's close proximity to outdoor activities, Lake Pleasant, there's just all the trails, the Sunrise Mountain Preserve area. We wanted to build something that was going to be, that people could ride their bikes to, that could be, and we know the city of Peoria is trying to develop their park system, so that kind of worked really well. And there was a good synergy with that as well. Also, I just want to point out across the street, there's 25,000 square foot medical and professional office complex going in. Actually, it's already built, and I believe all of their space is fully leased and up and running. And from what I've heard, they've got a tech company that's taken one whole building. It's going to bring over 100 extra employees into that area. So it's definitely a growing area. Again, the growth was one of the big key indicators of why we wanted to build over there. There's so much active building on the site. It's a little hard to tell, but everything in the green is actual active building. There's, West Wing's already being built, Oliverda, all of these areas. But the way we were looking at it is there's 11,000 new households in the next 24 months, and that was huge. And if anybody knows, you can get a lot of house over there for, not for compared to what you can get in Scottsdale, you can get a lot of house over there. So that was another indicator why we wanted to build over there. City of Peoria, again, is second highest housing sales in Metro Phoenix. It's one of the best places to live. It's got one of the wealthiest zip codes. It's one of the hottest hoods. It's just got a laundry list of reasons why Peoria is such a great growing area, and why we wanted to build over there and bring high-end retail, high-end restaurants, and bring kind of that Scottsdale feel over to Peoria. Right now we've got 5 restaurants already slated for Lot 1, and that's going to be the first. That will be the first to open up. Like I said, we're almost a gray shell. And then our tenants can go in there and start working on their TIs. We have 2 small spaces left in Lot 1. Other than that, we're 100% leased. We are already taking leases, and we have quite a bit of activity, even with the COVID going on for Lot 2. So we're hoping to get that off and running here in the next month once all of the tenants start kind of doing their TIs and shows a little bit more progress going on that side.
Quick question about your Lot 1 tenants. It seems like a lot of these tenants are new to the West Valley. Would that be a fair assessment?
That is true. They're all actually Scottsdale restaurants. So Dean proper is the folks over at Evo. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's in Old Town Scottsdale, and they're one of the chefs or one of the partners. His name, and I'm not sure his last name is, but we call him Chops. Anyway, he is the premier pasta chef over at Fat Ox in Scottsdale. So he is extremely well known in the culinary community. The Bourbon Cellar and then the Coffee Cellar Dessert and Coffee Bar, those are both establishments by Doug Smith, Chef Doug, and they're both in Scottsdale as well. And he is actually, if you Google him, he's a pretty well-known chef in the area. Euro Cafe is over here in Scottsdale, and he is actually wanting to expand in, he's going to do Howlers, which is going to be a high-end sports bar. And he's actually a huge hockey fan, hence the name Howlers and the coyote head there. So they're looking to put, that's going to be a 4,200 square foot building 3 high-end sports bar. So, that's there. We did not want to put any chains. We have steered away from chains. We've steered away from anything that would give that fast food market stigma as well. I mean, I always say if we wanted to have this 100% leased 2 years ago, we probably we would have sold out to McDonald's, Wendy's, Applebee's, everybody else. But we have, that's another reason why it's taken us a little bit longer, is we've really tried to hold out for these smaller non-chain restaurants and small and non-chain types of soft goods. And that's what we sold to the community. That's what we want to stick to, and that's where we're going. There's enough of that stuff over there. And there's enough small businesses that really want to be in Peoria. Mm-hmm. And so we're really, really trying to drive that over there.
So Sherry, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a follow-up on that.
Sure.
First of all, thank you for your development's commitment to kind of the First In Valley initiative. I have kind of two opinions on it for a community. It's good to have the chain restaurants. They provide an incredible service for the bulk of our residents, but also you need those special developments that are kind of apart and unique. And I think that the piece that you emphasize there, which is something that I think is important for all communities to hear and developers, is the patience side of it. So can you talk a little bit about how long your development has kind of has been, for lack of a better word, kind of in process from conception to actually starting to get some of these tenants to sign up for this phase 1?
In process, it's been a good 3.5-4 years from when we first acquired the property. We had to do all of the acquisition for it. It was, 3 different parties. One of the parties actually had 4 doctors involved into it, so it was quite a process. And then just going and getting the funding and proving that this was a viable area and was going to grow was, I'll be honest, was a little bit of a challenge in the beginning. But once we started getting involved with the city, getting involved with the neighborhood groups, and we're able to harness that energy and get that feedback and put that and show that to our investors and to our potential lenders, then people really started to take notice. Within the last 3 years, Peoria's done an amazing job really, putting themselves out in the forefront. And I think a lot of these statistics show that, being, one of the best cities to live and hottest housing market. And it just took it took a while for people to kind of notice. And, we personally feel at NBC that we've helped with that. It has been a struggle, kind of overcoming the stigma, we listened to the neighborhood, we listened to groups, we listened to what people wanted over there, why they were driving over to Scottsdale, what they were how they were willing to spend their money. We didn't go about it lightly and just say we're just going to build a shopping center. We really did our due diligence to make sure that this was going to be viable and it would be supported by the community. And yeah, it has taken a long time. I mean, we can all admit that. But we had to really, when you're dealing with smaller restaurants and smaller organizations, we have to really we're responsible to lenders and investors. So we need to make sure that we really listen to those. We really, we have to make sure that all of our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted to make that work. So, but, we constantly have people contacting us with regards to space. We have our rental rates are a little bit higher than I think some people would prefer, but that's just that's the market. That's the way the market is right now. So, but you know, we're excited to get moving, get this going again.
Well, this is the first that I've seen of your development, and the other thing that strikes me is it's not just one user coming in and being, for lack of a better word, just the anchor, and then you have very similar types of offerings. That this is all about kind of the for lack of a better word, the interplay of those different offerings, because it sounds like your community members that you reached out to said they want a variety, but they want that all to be kind of in the same development.
That's correct. Yes.
Fantastic. So is there a lot 2 going to be just as exciting?
I'm sorry. Oh, is lot 2 going to be? Oh, absolutely. We probably have space for 2 restaurants, and then the rest will be soft services, soft goods. So, you know, we're hitting more of the med spas, gyms, higher end boutiques. You know, they're all small space types of users. So the more variety that we can get in there, the better. We want to make it, you know, just kind of a destination place. So you can come in and, you know, eat lunch or get your nails done, go have a glass of wine, then maybe hit the boutique. You know, if you don't drink, then go take a bar class or something like that. So, you know, we want to make it family friendly, where we have it developed so you can ride your bikes down there. I know the city of Peoria is working on their trails, so that's going to be coming in down the pipeline in the future, so it has a little bit better access. But you know, it's we want it to be a destination. We want people to ride their bikes. We want people to just, you know, park their cars and walk around, hang out. We're going to have great patios. You know, we plan on having, you know, all of the users will probably have music. You know, it's just going to be kind of just a really cool vibe, kind of cool place for people to come and hang out.
That's what we want.
And so let's see. Oops, did I lose? Oh, I'm sorry, I keep doing. Okay, so did I miss a rendering here? There we go. So this is kind of just forward, sorry. So this is kind of what our nighttime look is. This is one of the renderings that we're using. So these are the 2 hard corner buildings with the patios, and these corners actually, the patios face the Dean Mountains, that whole sunrise area. So they're going to have fantastic views in the evenings. So when you're just sitting out on the patio, and then where you see the sidewalk, that actually connects to 83rd Avenue. So that whole area is going to be bike friendly and pedestrian friendly. So this is just kind of where we are right now. These were taken a week and a half ago, and actually we've made they're paving and they've changed a lot of the stucco colors and everything already. So, but you're looking at building 1 right now. And so kind of why I put these renderings up and then use the building pictures, as you can see, they're looking very similar to what our renderings are. And we really made a concerted effort to stick to what we were selling and what we're actually building. So once everything gets paved, it'll look better, but they're getting there. So, but you can see, you know, I think you can see that there's a lot of similarity, and we really have stuck to what we're doing. So this is all lot 1. This is building 2. That purple color is actually changing. I kind of always try to let everybody know that that's not the color that's going up, because it's not pretty. So building 2 again. This is building 3. This is where Howler's is going to be going in. It's a standalone 4,300 square foot building, and it's got a great patio. It's going to have, you can see on the right-hand picture, there's a patio on the other side, and it faces directly into that mountain. So it's going to have amazing views.
Is Howler's going to have the biggest footprint in the development?
As of right now, they will, because they're a standalone building. Yeah. And then these renderings right here, this is lot 2. So this is what we're planning on. We're into the city right now and working on our construction documents, and knock on wood, we would like to start construction by September of 2020. And what that will do is we'll get to gray shell on lot 1. Our tenants will start their TIs within the next, 4 to 6 weeks. They have 2 to 3 months to do those. We're looking at, again, everything works out the way it should. September, October opening date for the restaurants on lot 1. We'll be starting the construction on lot 2, and it's just going to kind of flow into each other. This is lot 2 again. And you guys probably noticed all the cool cars we put in there. So I like to put all the nice cars in there. But they all have, most of these have patios. Again, there's lots of pedestrian areas. There's lots of sidewalks, bike paths, things like that. So, sorry, Kristen. There we go. All right, so I guess I can open it to any questions or any comments.
So if you have any questions on the line, please put them in the chat box, and Mike will be able to moderate this piece of the program.
Hey, Sherry, just a quick clarifying question. So you talked about phase 1 and phase 2. Will that complete the land development side of it, or is there room for more development?
Nope, that will complete it all. It's 40,000 square feet. It's only 9 acres, so that will be it. We'd love to put some, maybe a little bit more on there, or we try to kind of format it maybe we could do some anchors and things. But parking is, particularly with restaurants, the parking ratios, we need to be really cognizant of that. So we kind of kept their building footprints a little bit smaller so to accommodate more parking, so we could have the restaurants in there.
So back to the community outreach piece, how important was that in being able to identify the opportunity that you had, and then also customize the types of tenants that would make sense for that community? And the reason I ask is sometimes people check a box, say they reach out to the community, but it sounds like your group really was looking for the community to inform you on the best way to be successful.
It was extremely important. I personally have friends over there. Mark has friends over there, so we was kind of just started talking to people, and then when about 4 years ago, when Nextdoor was a little bit newer than it is now, I had gotten a login onto Nextdoor and started kind of combing and looking and seeing what people were saying. And Katie Rowe of Upper West Side actually had originally just posted something with regards to upscale restaurants and wanting, and the timing was fortuitous because I was at that point looking, kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do and how we were going to market it. Because, we were acquiring the land, but we also were getting pushback from some of the neighborhoods, and some of the neighbors, rightfully so, because they thought we were just going to build another strip center there, and they were going to get a McDonald's and a fast food and a gas station. So, we were really trying to circumvent and prove to people that that's not what we were going to do. So we put together, some really key PR pieces, made sure that anytime that anybody called us or emailed us, that we would respond to them in a very quick manner with collateral material. We had several neighborhood meetings that we were required to for the city for the zoning, because we needed to change the zoning. And our space planner did an amazing job, kind of working with that and creating the renderings and showing how the views were going to work, and we wouldn't be blocking. And we really stuck to our guns and made sure that everybody knew that we weren't going to do chains or fast food. That's just not, we weren't putting a gas station. We weren't going to put an auto parts store in there. This is what we wanted to do, because we wanted, if we were to move to the West Side, we wanted to be able to go to these places as well. So it was more, it was, you know, it was kind of personal to us as well. We just wanted to make sure that we really, and it's, you know, it's been a little difficult at times with trying to get the types of tenants, but we've made sure that we've stuck to it. We've lost tenants, and, you know, we've had some fallout here and there, but usually there's somebody who's, you know, waiting to kind of backfill right back in. And we've been lucky with that in that respect, because now we're building what we said we were going to build, and we've really stuck to who we're going to lease to.
So the theme that I'm hearing from this particular development is that you had a kind of a steadfast commitment, open dialogue of communication, and then a healthy dose of patience over the last 2 to 3 years to realize kind of that original vision.
Absolutely, yes.
So I apologize, you may have mentioned this. Speaking of vision, when will the restaurants actually open?
Well, provided everything works the way it should, we're hoping that the tenants will start their improvements in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We're you know, they're working on getting their permits. They've got their plans into the city and things like that. So we're kind of working at a little bit slower pace than we wanted to. Plus our construction with, you know, we've had some material shortages with, you know, shipping and COVID and all those other things. So best case, we're hoping September, October, if not sooner. You know, probably right at the great time for restaurants to be opening up. You know, I want to point out one thing that I always try to tell people is, especially when we're soliciting restaurants or trying to, you know, get tenants, is the West Valley isn't really, especially in this area, is not seasonal. It's pretty steady. And so it's not like Scottsdale where you have, you know, it's extremely seasonal during the summer and the winter. And, you know, that's one point that we've really tried to get across in our marketing when we're talking to brokers and talking to potential tenants, that you're not going to have that huge lull in the summer that you would over here. And that's something I just really wanted to point out.
So more of a year-round population that would want to patronize the establishments.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. It's been wonderful learning about this project, and I'm excited when summer's over to have a nice meal in that development. But you said that you were working on your permits and getting through the TI process. Wonderful segue to a person over at the city of Peoria that may be able to help with those permits and those TIs.
She's been extremely helpful. She's been great.
I'm getting the Mother May I thing from Centra. Yes. What did I miss?
The polls.
Oh, yes.
Polls. So,
yep. So we're
going to ask a couple of poll questions to you all as the audience, just to kind of obviously get your feeling on or your information on this project. And this will help not only for 83 Marketplace, but I think just kind of, you know, letting us know if we're on the right track with these tours. So there's your first question. Prior to today, were you aware of 83 Marketplace? All right, Christina, do we have results? Wow, okay, so 69%. So yeah, Kirsten's happy, 69% of you knew about the project. That's awesome. And then the next question, Christina. So given what you learned today about 83 Marketplace, how likely are you to promote this to your clients? All right. Great, 91% will promote. So here we go. You're going to fill
awesome.
up. Lot 2 is going to be, you know, coming out of the ground pretty shortly, right? Or lot 2 is going to be getting filled up pretty shortly because of this type of response today.
That's awesome. I love it.
Great. All right, back to you, Mike.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody participating in today's virtual tours, but also that information sharing through the polls. So Kirsten, I started with the fact that the Economic Development Committee is a working committee, and you've been, an incredible advocate for these initiatives. But also you have a responsibility to your community, the city of Peoria. And Peoria is, it's an older community, meaning it's older than the city I work for, but it's still a growing community at the same time. And so I think we're going to have a discussion about kind of that growth dynamic and really how you are starting to position your community for some of the success in the future, which also will help with the success in the West Valley. So I'm glad to have you here today and enjoy this presentation.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Central, thank you for having these. I think the virtual tours, now that we're all well-versed in video conferencing, it makes it a quick but meaningful, trip to someplace that you might not have been. So I wanted to extend an invitation. If you're a broker, developer, if you're in, the CRE world, please come and drive out to see us. If you only know Peoria or any other city, out here in the West Valley, only through the computer and through demographics and data and what have you, this is the perfect time to drive out. There's not a lot of traffic. So anyway, I really enjoyed hearing what Sherry said. As you can tell, cabin development and Sherry especially have been really a trailblazer in telling people the Peoria story, telling their own, CRE, telling the CRE group the story of Peoria. I heard the word stigma, and I like to think of it as an educational opportunity. Some people don't understand the wealth that's in our city, and there's some pockets of extreme wealth according to the census. Ours is one, and there are several others in the West Valley. And when you drive around anywhere in Peoria, really, but especially North Peoria, it's really shocking. My children graduated from Sunrise Mountain High School, which was almost the furthest north high school, and it's Deer Valley is just north of it. So in '97 we annexed the rest of it, and so everything north of Deer Valley has really developed just since then. So we're really pleased with how that's going, and really pleased even during this quarantine time. Pleased to see that projects are still going, projects are still underway. Our pipeline is still filled, like people are finding. There are some that say, we're pausing. One or two are like, we're out, we can't do that. But I would say 85, 90% of the projects that I've been working are still viable. So I thought I might give some context to this area in particular, kind of focused in, and I have some slides that are both demographics and some of the other commercial development in that area. I don't know if Christina can put those up. I have my notes too. Should I just go to my notes? Okay. So let's see. Are those going up, or? Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you. So first, just demographics. I dropped a pin at some other shopping centers, Desert Ridge, Kierland, and downtown Gilbert, just to give you some context. Many folks are maybe more familiar with areas in the East Valley. And here is North Peoria, and the pin was right on 83 Marketplace. And so you can see my numbers, but I want to point out the average disposable income is just under what is at Kierland, $86,993, so $87,000. And then the average spending for entertainment and recreation, according to the census 2019, is just under what is at Kierland as well. It's a very, very wealthy area. has beautiful topography, as Sherry was saying. So we're we're well poised. But what this means is we have a neighborhood, if you will. While they're very cohesive, it's a pent-up demand. They really want those kind of high-end specialty restaurants, those chef-driven restaurants. And so Sherry and her group have been very integrated into the neighborhood, and the neighborhood has been very vocal about what they want and what they don't want. And I think they're getting what they want with 83 Marketplace. So the next slide, I have some of the commercial development that's happening in the area, just to let people know what's happening. The picture just behind there is by a local artist, but he's internationally renowned, and we call that, I forget, I had it marked on there, but anyway, it's right at the Happy Valley and Lake Pleasant Parkway at the northeast corner. Just gorgeous. It's lit up at night. So right around the corner, Lifetime Fitness, which is on the south of the southwest corner of Happy Valley Road and 67th, that's set to open soon. Obviously, we don't know what the new normal looks like, but Westmark had a presentation not too long ago where it was Mountainside Fitness, talked about their hygiene, their sanitation, and that actually gyms are sort of built for social distancing. You know, maybe the classes will have a challenge, but so I appreciated hearing that. Sunrise Promenade is a shopping center that is on the south of the southeast corner of Happy Valley Road and Lake Pleasant Parkway. It's Aldi's anchored, and similar to 83 Marketplace, they are filling as well. 83 Marketplace, you just heard, and Sherry alluded to a very large tech company. It's a headquarters going in just on the west side of 83rd Avenue. And they're doing that because they live in the area. So they're talented, highly educated in North Peoria. Some of the successful chef-driven restaurants that you really need to check out are Peoria Artisan Brewery. The Haymaker has 3 locations in the valley. This is their mothership. Fabio on Fire is not the man with the long hair. It is a restaurant consultant, also internationally renowned. He consults in Scottsdale, consults restaurants. He lives in Peoria, and he wanted his own deal that his family could work in, and he's got fine Italian dining, and he just added patio to that. And then Montellero Kitchen just opened. They opened right at the beginning of the quarantine, and they said, no, we're convinced this is a good concept. It's fast casual Mexican food. And they have been doing very, very well. I'm sure they wish people could actually come in, but they've been doing takeout and curbside delivery, doing very well. Walmart is finally going in with the mixed-use development. They are on the southeast corner of Lake Pleasant Parkway and Deer Valley, so a little bit west of where 83 Marketplace is. You may know, if you've driven around there, there were 20 acres of dirt just on the south side of Walmart for probably 10 plus years. Walmart built in the recession. They were convinced that the big box stores were going to land there, and of course they didn't. They went to the corner of Happy Valley and Lake Pleasant. So there it sat. Finally, they agreed, yes, we need to do something with it, and luckily it's going to be mixed-use development. We've got multifamily, we've got a gym, we've got 2 restaurant paths. I know one of them. The other one is going to be a surprise to all of us, so we'll announce that when we can. And just on the west side of the street, there's over 300 single-family homes, new homes going in. So that makes that a very, very busy, area. And then I mentioned a lot of our commercial projects are still in the pipeline. I've been calling them all and keeping in touch with them, and I'm really happy to see that there is still an economic engine humming out there. And then finally, I wanted to put a plug in. Our P83 Stadium Point project is on track. You may remember we went out to RFP looking for a master developer. We're in the middle of vetting someone. When we're able to announce, I think that will really be kind of the starting gun to have things happen. Everyone knows that there's lots of activities when the shovel hits the dirt, so it won't be immediately, but I think that we'll see some more activity. So Peoria is busy. We're open for business. We're we're really making some things happen. I appreciate, again, what Westmark is doing, making it very easy for people to see live and see people's faces that they know, talk about their neck of the woods. And yeah, just invite you, give me a call, drive through, grab something to eat, and let's sit down and talk.
Kirsten, thank you for the overview of this area. One piece that I'm really proud of, because we actually met with this restaurateur, Joey Lucidi, and the work he's done with Haymaker, with the social at 83rd Avenue and Bell. I think he is really kind of emblematic of the future of restaurateurs in the West Valley, and he really is our own here. He's Peoria's, but you have to share him. But very proud of the work he's doing, because he's figured out not only a great concept with the Haymaker, but he's also very bold and ambitious in bringing in new concepts to the West Valley. And I think that's something that should be, whenever we get the chance, highlighted and talked about. Any comments about the great work that he's doing in Peoria and also the West Valley?
Absolutely. And you said bold and ambitious. That is Joey Lucidi, and he is ours. And our director, Rick Buss, right now, we just had a conversation about how he belongs to Peoria. He's smiling right now. Joey Lucidi is an outspoken Italian man who grew up in restaurants. His mom and dad had restaurants all of his life in San Diego. They moved here many years ago. His brother built the only, at the time only, distillery, and now it's one of 3 in Arizona. It's in our Old Town district. It's in Firehouse Number 1, so it's kind of a cool place to go. Joey started expanding. He opened the Social, which was meant to be something that was a little bit more, I don't know what you would call it, fine dining. It's got a beautiful patio. It's got drink specials. It caters to a younger crowd, but I like to go there. And just everything from, the staff to the food to everything is just wonderful. He knows how to do it. He recently bought the old Dylan's restaurant. That was kind of a landmark, Mike, you'll probably remember, on Thunderbird Road, and that's near my house. I call it my Haymaker. And all 3 of his restaurants just recently opened to offer takeout. Initially, the one in North Peoria was the only one that was open, and that was going so well that he could open all of them. He's got a lot more planned, and he says, and I do not disagree, that we need to grow our own in the West Valley. Somebody that is in the West Valley, they understand the market, they understand the community. It's its own, has its own flavor and culture, like it should. It's Peoria, as you said, it's been around a long time. And I like what Joey says, his whole family says, let's just grow our own. Let's support what, what comes out of the West Valley, and kind of grow that. I know that I send restaurateurs to Joey and his brother Chris as well all the time, so that they can talk with them and, I don't know, sort of mentor them.
Yeah, the other piece I like is he's very giving with his time and his knowledge. And there's something to be said about a restaurateur that's ambitious, but also is community minded in that way. So I just wanted to kind of do a little plug for something, because as you said, he is one of our own here in the West Valley, and I'm just so excited about all the development we're seeing that Sherry spoke about, and then the fantastic growth that you're seeing in Peoria, specifically North Peoria. So I will ask if anybody has any questions, so please put them in the chat box. And while we wait for any additional questions, Kirsten, you had mentioned that about 95% of the projects that are in your department's pipeline are still moving forward. I think that married to what GPEC is seeing with their project pipeline as well. I know from my perspective, we're actually seeing some projects accelerate right now, but we're definitely very optimistic about kind of what the future holds. Do you have any reasons why you think that we're dealing with such a dramatic situation, but yet projects are still so bullish on the fundamentals of the West Valley, specifically Peoria.
Yeah. Well, the pandemic we're going through is very real, and it is nothing in our lifetimes that we've experienced. It's a real thing. But I've been following a couple of economists, and they say that while, you know, restaurant retail has been decimated for sure, some small businesses will never reopen, absolutely. But there is a very strong economic engine humming under all of this. I'm not an economist, by the way, but this crisis and this downturn is not economic. It's health, it's public health. I really think there's a pent-up demand. I don't think there will ever be a world where people don't want to be together face to face, and whatever that looks like. And depending on where you stand on the situation, people do say that pandemics have happened before, and you get the herd immunity, and then things kind of go on. I hope I'm answering your question. Yeah, everything that I've heard from economists to what I see to what I hear. Just heard a hotelier say that they have more bookings in the third quarter than they did last year, active bookings, and more all the time. So these are big groups that, you know, want to visit. I think there's a pent up demand. I think we're in our houses and we can't wait to get together.
Well, I'm definitely excited about definitely opening back up some of this activity, but also the activity that you went through today is so heartening because, again, growing up in the West Valley, we've known that we've had these incredible demographics, but really starting with the Peoria Smart Initiative 6 years ago, and then you building upon that, and then great developers like 83 Marketplace coming in, it's really something for us to be proud of and continue to promote. So I think this is time for the polls, Sintra. Do we have one last poll before we move forward?
No, we don't have any more. It was just the two for the 83 Marketplace.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Thanks, Christina. Christina's always keeping us organized here. So I do want to thank both of our guests today, but also everybody that's participating on these virtual tours. This is a wonderful way for us to engage, but it's also, and I think we identified last time, Sintra, probably a tool that we're going to be using into the future to be able to bring some of these assets to people in a more convenient way, but also highlight incredible work that's happening here in the West Valley. So, Sintra, I'll leave it to you if you have any final thoughts or anything that we need to be discussing before we depart. You're on mute. You're on mute, Sintra.
How about now? I'm good?
That's perfect.
Okay. So like Mike said, you know, thank you all for giving your time and attention to this. We do want to bring this information to you in kind of a quick and dirty, you know, it's going to be hot. What I love about it is I get to go out to the site and do a little Facebook Live and get to see it in advance of what we're going to be showing you. So I'd just like to give you a preview of next time, which is the 21st, where we'll be featuring Park West, which is also a Peoria project. And we're looking at possibly 2 projects in Surprise, more to follow on which ones those will be, so that'll make sure that you stay tuned. Secondly is these webinars are housed on our West Valley Projects page. So if you missed one, if you want to share this information with others down the road and say, hey, you really missed out, go check this out. Have them go onto the Westmark website and look on our West Valley Projects page. All of this information, the full entirety of the webinar will be on there. And I just kudos to the city of Peoria for everything that you're doing. That's such an incredibly beautiful area. Every time I go there, I marvel at, to Sherry's point, you know, the topography is very similar to Scottsdale, to North Scottsdale. So it's just an incredible area. And then Sherry, just really strong kudos to you. The big lesson I took away is patience, patience, patience. You know, residents always want things tomorrow, but I think from a leadership perspective, you know, we should be pushing to wait and to be patient for the right product and the right a service that we're all looking for. Patience does pay off. And then one final word about Joe Lucidi with Westside Concepts. I met Joe a couple of years ago, and I met him because he said, I'm going to be the Sam Fox of the West Valley. And I just love that, because he said, it's got to be our own. You know, we can't expect somebody else to come in here and pitch and promote and love our community the way we do. So I love what he's doing in Peoria, in Goodyear, and other parts of the region. So thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.